Hey YouTube, happy Sunday, slash Hallows Eve, um, or is it All Hallows Eve, not just Hallows Eve? Anyway, so I'm really confused, guys. On Friday, the high temperature was, I think 46 or 44, not even 50. Today, the high is in the 70s, like currently it's 73 degrees. I was sweating a few minutes ago. And Friday I was wearing my winter coat. I don't understand. Well, I guess I do understand global warming, but it's just it's so weird. Sorry, I thought that was a piece of hair there. Anyway, so I wanted to give you a follow-up to my follow-up, or a follow-up to my update from Friday. This time a little less rambly. Of course, I'll still go on tangents, because, that's what I do. But I've actually, written down what I want to talk about, so I'm not super confused. So I started the video last week with, just talking about how crazy things are for me with my classes and how much work I've had to do. And at one point I mentioned that I had 1 of 4 classes. So I was actually taking 5, but I withdrew from my oceanography. It was like a painful decision to make, and I know some people who feel like withdrawing from a class is like the end of the world, but I'd rather have the W because I withdrew after the official ad drop period. I'd rather have the W than the F. There were just a lot of issues in terms of balancing my work and with the accessibility office getting my the scanned textbook to me in time. And speaking of which, I hope to make a video with 2 of my friends soon about our experience with the accessibility / disability office, depending on what your school calls it. But just overall, I think, well, of course I think that it's great because they get me the things that I need, but it's frustrating when it's halfway through the semester and you finally get the textbook and you've needed it since the beginning of the semester. And so yeah, I eventually just decided to drop it, and honestly I think it's made a lot of difference in my improvement in the other 4 classes. But I'm still kind of struggling with things, but I'm working on it, and I'm working on my time management. Let's see, and then I mentioned the interview I had on Friday, so that was exciting. As I said, it was my first interview for an adult job, as opposed to an internship, which I would usually get through organizations specifically for visually impaired or blind students. And the way that I found out about the job was one of my friends recommended me for it. So I went to the interview. I was late, even though I left half an hour early, but I called her to let her know. To let my interviewer know that I would be late. And it was really painful because I don't like being late, but there's nothing I can do if the trains are moving super slowly. But again, I left earlier anticipating this, but I guess there are just some things that are out of your control. But anyway, so the first part, I came in and everyone had applications that they had to fill out, and the interviewer just met with me first. There were other interviewees, if you guys didn't guess, but so she met with me first, and she asked me the application questions in the form of our interview. I think what she'd done with the others is after they filled out their application, she would call them in, look over it, and then continue with the interview. So I had that done. Then we had an hour group interview sort of thing. It wasn't necessarily a group interview, but she was selling the product to us and demonstrating what we would have to do. So I'd be a sales rep for this cutlery company. And honestly, she was very good at what she did. I want to buy the product. And so after we did the demonstration, wherein she asked us a few questions, at random, there was a follow-up application, now that you know what the job is about, what the position would entail, how do you think your personality, or why do you think your personality would fit. And so again, she just called me into her office and we did the follow-up interview together, the follow-up application in the form of just a verbal interview. And she was like, well, we've had, she hasn't worked with anyone who's visually impaired, but she has a manager, or she knows a manager, one of the managers who has, and she said that she would talk to him, and that person ended up being one of their top sales reps. And she's like, so I know you can do it, we just have to figure out how. And I really liked her because, you know, she wasn't making a big deal about my vision. I mean, granted, most professional people, I feel, don't. Well, that's not strictly true. But, you know, that she was just like, okay, well, what do you need me to do, or how can I help you, rather than assuming what I need, or just completely falling apart, because she didn't know how she'd be able to help me. So she was like, well, you seem very smart, and you have like a resilient attitude. And she's like, and that's why I'm offering you the job. Do you accept? I was just like, oh my god, yay! No, that's what I said in my head. What I said out loud was, oh my gosh, wow, thank you. Yes, I couldn't resist the oh my gosh, because I was just, I don't know. On the one hand, I wasn't surprised. Like, I was being a jerk, yes, but just like watching my other competition, I was like, I definitely have to be one of the people who's chosen. Just in terms of, I feel as though, even though sometimes I search for the right word, I am fairly well spoken. Some of the people just seem so flustered, so I was just like, yeah, I should be good. And I know that's probably conceited, but that's how I felt. But then to actually have been offered the job, that was a really awesome feeling. And the training is this coming week, 3 days of training, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, which I'll probably make a video telling you guys about. So yeah, super exciting. In addition to that, so November is coming up, 2 days? Yeah, 2 days. And I am going to participate in NaNoWriMo again, National Novel Writing Month. And it's definitely going to be hard. Like, I have a new job now, and granted, I'll be working part-time and I can set my schedule weekly, but I have the new job. I'll still have tons of reading to do, but honestly, I think it's better having all of these things to do than having ample free time, because it's going to really force me to figure out my time management. And I also plan on making somewhat of a schedule so that I can at least upload vlogs and blog posts weekly, even if it's nothing interesting. Or I feel like sometimes I do have interesting things to say, but as time passes, you know, if I don't make the video immediately, like immediately after I've walked into that poll and I've had like an intense discussion with someone about, I don't know, the philosophy of poll walking into, then I'll just, like, over time, I'll just forget some of the details, and I'm just like, I'll wait till there's another time when I do something and it's fresh in my mind. So I'm really going to try to just, like, get on things, even if I can't make it, do it immediately. Sometimes I'll start writing it down and then I'll get distracted, but I'm just going to, as I said, just try to make my videos more frequently and somewhat on a schedule. Hopefully, maybe, every Saturday or Sunday night, I'm not sure, like, at least once a weekend for my videos and my blog posts, and still working on Nano and finding time to read. I'm going to, not reading for pleasure, but school reading. I'm not allowed to read during the semesters, even though I did break that rule twice to read the newest Anita Blake book and the final Tainted Accords, I think it is, book. Oh my gosh, both were quite good. You guys should totally read it. I'll put the book and author. If you guys like fantasy, one's YA and one is probably like mature fiction. Oh, it would definitely be mature fiction. But yeah, so that's what's going on with me. As usual, you guys should comment and follow me on Twitter. Check out my blog, which, again, I'm not going to say when I'll update because I don't want it to be a lie, but once I finally do update, really, that's uncalled for. Once I finally do update, like, I hope to start making it a regular thing again. And, you know, any suggested videos you'd like me to make, please feel free to put them in the comments or send them to me on Twitter. I've gotten 2 requests about, like a shit people say to blind people that I do really want to work on. I've kind of been dragging my feet on it, but my second suggestion rather than request, the second time it was suggested came today, and I'm like, okay, So people would probably be interested in this, so I'll work on that. And yeah, so that's the follow-up to my update. I probably won't be back until at least next weekend. Um, I'll tell you how the first few days of Nano has been going. Tomorrow's Halloween. Maybe something interesting will happen. I am going to be dressing up, and I will insert a photo of my costume in the next video, i.e. I'll ask my friend Milica to insert a photo of my costume in the next video, and a description for all of my visually impaired friends. I'm going to be a Renaissance maiden. Was what I was last year, but this time I'm going all out with my costume. Or when I say all out, I mean I'm actually going to put effort into it, unlike last year. Alright, I've rambled for about 10 minutes. This is really weird, making videos that are under 15 minutes. I'll leave it that way and I'll stop talking, and I hope you guys have a great week.